Do you even do facts? Do you even do that stuff? Oh, it gets worse. Back to our Economics for Dummies segment, because we need to do this, because unfortunately I have to break through the liberal morass of ignorance and stupidity sometimes and show them what actually happens in the real world when you swear allegiance to dopey liberal politics. Here's the first story. Liberals are really into the government spending money it doesn't have, right? So what happens when the government spends money it doesn't have, Joe? Where does it get the money? Because the government's spending money it doesn't have now, right? Well, either people can lend it to them, or they'll do this crazy thing called quantitative easing, where we print money. That would be called, in the non-government world, counterfeiting, and you'd find yourself in handcuffs going to jail. It's what I actually did for a living in the Secret Service before I was in the protection detail, arrested people for counterfeiting. But when government does it, don't worry, Joe. You call it quantitative easing, and it's A-OK. So there's an interesting article in the Wall Street Journal. Headline: Banks in Germany, this is a real headline again, not a joke. The banks in Germany are telling customers to take their deposits elsewhere. Why? Because more customers, it's a real headline. More customers are having to pay negative interest rates as savings have surged amid the pandemic. Why is this happening? Well, German banks, by even bigger international institutions and financial institutions, are being charged negative interest rates for the deposits they keep. Negative interest rates. So think about what this means. That means you put your money in a German financial institution and the money loses money. Negative interest rates. A negative sign in front of them. So Germany is then having to send its money to other larger financial operations and institutions who are charging them negative interest rates. So Germany, not wanting to lose money, is telling people, take your dinero and your dough and please bring it somewhere else. Pretty weird when you're in the money business that you're telling people to take your money and go elsewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about this for a minute. I got a nice email from a lady. He said, Dan, you got to talk about economics more. That's why we're doing our Economics for Dummies segment today. People used to laugh at the idea of negative interest rates because they thought that never happened, right, Joe? Negative interest rates. Yeah. Why would anyone put their money in a bank to lose money? No, it's happening right now. Here's from the Wall Street Journal. Germany's biggest lenders, Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank, have told new customers since last year to pay a 0.5% annual rate to keep large sums of money with them. In other words, pay them a fee, them not give you a fee. You pay them a fee to hold your money. The banks say they can no longer absorb the negative interest rates the ECB, European Central Bank, charges them. The more customer deposits they have, the more they have to park with the central bank, who's charging them to keep the money. This is creating an unusual incentive where banks that usually want deposits as an inexpensive form of financing, the thing we called banking for centuries, are essentially telling customers to go away. Banks are even providing new online tools, Joe, get a load of this, to help customers take their deposits elsewhere.
Heck of a business model,
huh? Well, it is if you're in the safe business.
Holy cow.
I said yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe time to get in the, safes. Not a safe business, like a safe business. Safes like punch in a code, open the safe. What better way to make money than to take your money out of financial institutions where everyone else is losing money? You put your money in a safe and your money is maintaining its value while everyone else is losing. Sounds like a smart strategy to me. You better get in the safe business really quick now. I said people used to laugh at negative interest rates. So what happened? They did. Sane economists around the world used to say negative interest rates, that'll never happen. No one's ever going to put their money in a financial institution knowing they're losing money by the day by doing so, or pay a financial institution to keep their money. That sounds kind of dumb. So what happened, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the digital economy happened. And the search for alpha, the search for gain and yield has gotten so terrible because we're printing money like crazy and money's worth less and less every day that people are so desperate just to not lose money due to inflation that they put their money in financial institutions, number one, because the digital economy makes it impossible to not have a bank account. We're not where we were 100 years ago where cash was king. Everything now is Apple Pay, credit cards, Venmo. Everything's done online. Everything done online means you need a bank account, right? So that's number one. But number two, people are so afraid of hyperinflation and their money losing all of its value, basically, over time, that they're saying to themselves, I'd rather put it in a financial institution where I only lose a little bit. That's how bad things have gotten. It is now impossible to escape the idea that you worked for money, that we're moving towards a hyperinflationary future because we're printing so much money, that your money, the money you worked for yesterday, is going to be worth less today. Literally, if you put it in a bank. Why do we keep doing this? Why do governments love negative inflation rates? Because, folks, it's a form of closet taxation. How's that? If I put my money in a bank and I'm being charged, I'm losing money every day keeping my money there. How is that a form of closet taxation? Well, when the government prints money it doesn't have to pay for things it can't afford, which we're doing now in the United States and around the world, what happens? It makes the money in circulation worth less. Well, what is it? If it makes money worth less, what else is worth less? Oh, government debt. That's right. So if money's worth less and I owe Joe $1 trillion, right? I'm a government, the United States, and I owe, say, China, bondholders in China, $1 trillion. That $1 trillion is worth less, too, if we print a bunch of money. Negative interest rates in conjunction with inflation and the hyperprinting of money makes money worth less, but it also makes your debt worth less too. And if you're a government like the United States or Japan, who have spent so much money we can't possibly pay it back, what better way to not pay it back than to make the money you owe worth almost nothing? I've used this John Maynard Keynes, who was the eponymously named founder of Keynesian economics, a real hero to the left. Even he exposed this scam a while ago. He explained that, there's a couple different ways to take money from your society if you're a government, right? You can just tax them. So say you wanted to take 25% of everything people owned in a society. And let's say the entire United States generated $100, just using round numbers in GDP. Well, the way to take 25% and spend it would be to tax people 25%, right? There's $100 in the economy. You get 25% of it by taxation. But there's another way to do it, too. If there was $100 in circulation, the government doesn't have to tax you anything. They could just print $33, spend it. Now there's now $133 in circulation. They didn't have to tax you directly, and that's still about 25%, 33 of 133. This is a great deal for everyone, negative interest rates, if you're a government spendthrift looking at sure bankruptcy. You make your debt worth less, you get to print a whole bunch of money, and you get to tax your people without them even knowing it. What a deal. Wait, there's more in our Economics for Dummies segment. Here's another Wall Street Journal article I found, I think last week. February 26th. California's climate contradictions. New evidence shows that green policies punish the poor and subsidize the rich. That's got to be backwards. No way. Liberal climate policies punish the poor and subsidize the rich? We've been told, Joe, they punish the rich and subsidize the poor. How is this totally backwards? Well, let's see. From the Wall Street Journal piece. By the way, just highlighting the great irony of the liberal forest fire that is burning down America every single day. How everything liberals tell you they're doing the opposite. We're fighting racism. Actually, you guys are the racists. We're fighting economic inequality. Actually, you're punishing the poor and subsidizing the rich. Facts don't matter to them. Here, check this out. California's green energy policies. So if you are a rich person with solar panels on your roof in California, you are actually being paid by taxpayers in California to send your extra energy to Arizona. Not a joke. Quote, Wall Street Journal. Here's the kicker. Folks with solar panels get paid for surplus power in California they don't use. Sometimes, Joe, at 2 to 3 times the rate of wholesale power. What a gig. Oh. So California pays the well-to-do with solar panels to generate solar power it doesn't need and then pays the state of Arizona to take it. How do I get this deal? Paula, solar panels tomorrow on the roof. What a deal. All the rich, wait a minute. I thought the liberals were, eat the rich, help the poor. That's really strange that California taxpayers are paying really rich people who have solar panels to generate extra electricity, paying them 2 to 3 times the rate they could pay for wholesale power to rich people who are then sending the power to citizens out of state, not even California citizens who are paying the rich people. Whoa, that sounds kind of bass-ackwards to me. But we're liberals. We care. Do you even do facts? Do you even do that stuff? Oh, it gets worse. It's not just that your green energy utopia finances those evil rich people you can't stand and pays them to send power to citizens of another state. It's that you actually tax the middle class. The middle class. I thought you were helping the middle class. You're liberals. You tax the middle class to then pay off the poor who can't afford their electric bills because you're too busy paying the rich to send power to Arizona. This can't possibly be. No, it is. It is. Facts and stuff, libs. Facts, skulls, penetrate inside the skull. Here from the Wall Street Journal. Yet 25 to 30% of all residential electricity is discounted for low-income consumers because it's too expensive, because they're too busy paying the rich. So they discount it for the poor. And, quote, the cost of this subsidy for the poor is borne by the other customers, the study says. In other words, this is not fun. I can't. You liberals are so stupid. This is real. In other words, the middle class ends up financing rate subsidies for the poor aimed at ameliorating the higher costs of solar subsidies for the rich. California's cap and trade program and utility public purpose programs like battery subsidies add several more cents per kilowatt hour.